Summiting the 7 highest peaks in the world is a feat not many have accomplished. Tony van Marken is one of the select few who embraced the risk and completed the journey in just over 2 years. His ambition and passion for risk has extended beyond the world's highest peaks and influenced his performance in the boardroom. From the high-pressured world of venture capital to taking on the telecoms industry in South Africa, Van Marken likes to set the bar high.
You've got to set big goals in life. You know, if you aim low, that's where you'll end up. And I think you've got to constantly get out of your comfort zone and be prepared to do different things. I've had 3 completely different jobs in my career, and I've lived in 5 different countries. And I've always been prepared to go and start from scratch and try something different. And I think people get trapped in doing things that they've been in for like 10 or 12 or 14 years, and they say, I can never leave. And that's a problem. You stagnate and you're not challenged, and you just continue with the status quo. Some people do the Ironman or run the comrades, and I thought too many people can do those things. Let's find something a little bit different that not a lot of people have done. You know, you have this great quote from George Mallory, why do you climb? And he said, because it's there, supposedly so. But there's something special about being on the summit of a mountain. You know, you've planned, you've prepared, you've put in effort, you've trained. You might have spent, like on Everest, I was there for 78 days. You get to the summit, and it's quite a unique experience. You know, no one can take that away from you. And it's like, you know, it's a goal-setting sport, and it's quite rewarding to get to the top. And I guess that's a metaphor for life in many ways. I learned that it's no different to running a business. You have to plan, you have to prepare. I was 200 meters below the summit of Everest when another climber discovered that the regulator on his oxygen bottle had failed, and he didn't have a spare. So he had to turn around and go back to Camp 4. Now, on our team, we actually had a spare, but we needed it on our team. But we'd actually thought of that detail, and it wasn't the first time we'd been climbing that something like that happened. And that's the attention to detail that you have to have. And I learned in climbing it's even more so, because if there's nowhere to go shopping, if you don't have something, you simply don't have it. So whether it be planning, risk management, working with people, making decisions, organizational skills, etc., it really brings home to you more than anything how important it is to pay attention to those things in business. To take an entrepreneur with a business plan and to fund them and see that business grow and develop is quite exciting. You might fail 70 to 80% of the time, but you're prepared to take that gamble if you can create a Google or an eBay or a Yahoo. Now, we didn't actually succeed in doing that. We actually failed more than we succeeded, but there was always that possibility. We had some very successful companies, not on that type of scale, but the venture capital model is, you know, you put up a certain amount of capital for a very large return at the end of the day. And it is very exciting. It's highly risky, but it's very rewarding to be involved in that building process. I've learned more through the deals that didn't work than the deals that did work. Certainly in venture capital, when you raise $20, $30 million for a company and ultimately that company fails, that's a pretty hard lesson to learn, because all the shareholders involved in that transaction have lost out. So you really learn about some of the dynamics that make a business go and what you can control and what you can't. You know, you can fix a management team by hiring new talent. You can improve a product to make it better. But if the market decides that your category of product is no longer going to be in demand, you can't move the market is the market. If you're in a storm at base camp on Everest, it's not a big deal. But if you're at 8,000 meters, you're going to count on your teammates for your joint survival. So selecting the right team, planning and preparation, making decisions under pressure, these are key things on the mountain, but they're no different in business. People too easily in business find an excuse to delay a decision or to not deal with a personnel problem, etc. But when you're climbing the mountain, there's no room for error. So I believe I bring more urgency to issues and to getting things resolved. Pay more attention to detail when it comes to planning, because you know those types of mistakes can cost you on a major expedition. We're obviously a very small player, But we're trying to provide an alternative in the market that's cost effective and that's high quality. And that's really our focus. And I think if you look at world trends in telecommunications, you've seen the same type of thing happen in the UK and North America. I mean, British Telecom today is 81% of the UK market, but has grown its revenue and earnings every year for 5 years. And there's massive competition in that market. So I think that there's plenty of room here for everyone to grow, because the size of the pie will get larger. And we've seen worldwide that when the prices of bandwidth comes down, the demand grows exponentially. So one can't say that, you know, telecom's revenues will decline. They'll actually grow if they market their products right, because we're going to have a bigger market for all of us. This is another mountain to climb here at DataPro, and I tell people, you know, we've left base camp and we're on our way to Camp 1, probably got past Camp 1 on our way to Camp 2, but we're not at the summit yet. And it might take us another 2-3 years, might take us 4 years. So for me, this is a personal mission that I'm on. Most projects I've embarked on have been sort of 5-year projects. I'm self-motivated. I want to see this company become a major player in telecommunications in South Africa. I think we can do that. I think we can become the largest alternative telecom operator to Telkom, notwithstanding that there is a second network operator already. In June of this year, I'm taking the management team of Kilimanjaro. And when I joined the company, I said we'd do that, and they all thought I was joking. But I put them all on a training program, and I said, you know, why shouldn't we do this? So I've got 15 people signed up. We leave on June the 7th. And it's a pretty big goal. You know, and although you can say people climb it every year, the fact is you have to prepare, you have to plan, you have to get fit and get ready. So I believe it creates some excitement. I think it's something different to what people are used to. Set ambitious goals, be prepared to aim high, be accountable for your actions, but actions speak louder than words. You know, get on with it and do it, and the rewards will come later. And I think that's what we've tried to do. We've tried to raise the bar in terms of performance, quality, how we deal with customers, how we deal with investors. And if you can get every employee in the company to think like that, ultimately it'll be for the benefit of all the stakeholders involved. I really sort of follow the mantra of actions speak louder than words. You know, instead of talking about what you're going to do, rather do it and then come tell me what you've done. And I think if you follow that path, I think things work out. So that's really my own personal philosophy, and I think the journey is as important as the end result. Many people say that. Yes, you want to get to the summit, and that is, you know, what you're striving for. But how you get there, and the style in which you get there, is just as critical in my view.